Welcome back to the Aquatic Center, ladies and gentlemen. We've got around the world. For those joining us in New Zealand, we got New Zealand playing in the game today, and versus the French. So, Allez France, welcome. And joining me here in this booth, Dave Lambert here, joining me will be Nat Wickham. She's going to continue in her Court 2 coverage. I'm joining her in the booth. And Nat, looks like it's going to be an exciting game, this one.
David, well, I just called the South African-Colombian game, and it was 0-0 until the last 45 seconds, and South Africa managed to get it through on the tray. But fantastic game, so tight, and skillful girls. It was really, really good hockey, and we had quite a few people on the live chat watching, and a lot of Colombians, because they're probably awake right now. I think the South Africans, it was all in the middle of the morning. So if you're streaming right now, please contribute to the live chat. We love to hear from you. So we should be getting some New Zealand support.
Yeah, they seem to be all down here at the court, and I'm just looking over at the court, and at least half the stands is
that is time.
New Zealanders there. Obviously, the French. We've got 20 seconds to go before the start. This will be an interesting game to see if the New Zealand's the French team has actually responded to their shock loss against Great Britain yesterday.
Did you call that game, David?
Yeah, no, I called that game and watched it. The French were structured really strongly and really up on the Great Britons, and then the Great Britons popped one goal in and seemed to rattle the French, and they never seemed to recover from that. And they were very disappointed at the end of the game.
Wow, well, they're going to come out super hard. And as we know, the New Zealanders will play a really structured game. They're well drilled, and they tend to keep it fairly tight and straight line it. So we'll see what the French can do to counteract that.
Yeah, we're underway, and already we're on the this side of the far side. If you're looking at the streaming end, and we've got New Zealand playing in white in their sort of bluish bathers, and the French in their dark colors and the dark caps and their dark bathers. So if you can you see what's going on, you got New Zealand having the puck now, being chased by a couple of French, but it looks like a referee has called the play back, and he's called an infringement against New Zealand. New Zealand, he got to back up, and the French have been given an advantage puck and way back, because it must have been an advantage play there, Nat.
Yeah, gee, I think most of the teams just about all swapped from the sub-bench there, David, so they didn't have much time to set up. The refs are keeping the flow of the game going well. They restart play really quickly. And as you can see here, the ref playing advantage, which just keeps the flow of the game. And from the player's perspective, that's what you want. You don't want to be stop-starting the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely, Nat. Like you, I'm not sure if when I first started playing, advantage wasn't even heard of, but I really enjoyed the advantage because when the referees, and now we have 3 referees, and there was a lot of complaints that you weren't missing anything, so we introduced 3 referees, but at the same time, we introduced advantage play, which has really made a nice flowing game happen, Nat.
Yeah, and that's great. That's all good. So, but look, there's Simon Talbot in the water there for one of the refs. We've got such experienced refs here, world class for a world championships, and that's what you expect. But we're right hard against the goals, and gee, she was quick to take that puck.
Yeah, she took a long run up in there, and the tray is being pressured. I'm not sure what was going on there, but it looked like the New Zealanders made a substitution right in front of goal, and that they paid the price for that, Nat.
Yeah, I don't think you've got time on a free, especially when it's on the other side of the court. You don't want to be making substitutions. The only time you really want to be doing that is when play passes past your sub bench.
Yeah, and the French have drawn first blood with a 1-goal lead. We actually haven't seen or heard anything from the bench, so unfortunately, I'm sorry, the French fans, but I'm not sure who scored that goal, but we'll try to get that to you as soon as we can.
Stephen Cars, cheers back at you to the USA. Thanks for your comment on live chat.
Yeah, it looks like the French are really lift up for that game, and the Kiwis are responding they got to get back into this game and get a goal back. So they got to keep their composure and sort of respond to this French onslaught, and which they're trying to do with number 2, Kirsty Burrows, driving really strongly up there, but she's fully supported and by the New Zealand team there. And there we go. We got a straight run.
That's just, look, that was brilliant hockey. You couldn't see any gaps. There were so many bodies on the bottom, and they're so quick, these girls. But that cross, the 45 cross into goals, keeping possession, really worked for them. So we've got a draw, a 1-1 scoreline at the moment.
Yeah, again, Simon signaled the number, but he was pretty quick in that, and we never picked it up. And I'm trying to see that number. It looked like number 2, Kirsty Burrows, who sort of initiated that play net of way back in the. And you're right, the French came out hard, but the Kiwis countered in working together, linked up really strongly. That
they did. Next break in play, I'd be interested to see when the coaches call their timeouts. I think at the moment they just want to let the play flow. Both teams are settling and working out their own style of play, and then I think a timeout. It's always like a trump card. When you call it is so important. But look at this fantastic run, terrific possession, and gosh, she's quick.
Yeah, she got a bit of a head start. She worked really well, nice and tight with her fellow teammate, got the puck over. But look, the French defense wasn't, but the New Zealanders over top, waiting for it, and but we got a referee's call. It's interesting that I've been watching this game for a number of years, and you've been playing it for a number of years at the world level. Is a good mix of Finns in there. There's a mix of Nage Finns in there, and the Brias and another couple other brands. But those Nage Finns are working well for the French and the New Zealand players.
Yeah, they're unbreakable, David. They're all that single mould, and they just, as we know, sometimes we have a few snap fins for the Brias and the Matmaz, but I think the Nages just, they go and go and go.
Yeah, and there was a lovely example there of I think again that was Kirsty Burrows on the left wing there, who was using turning her Nages over nice and fast and getting some good power of it, but she was caught by a French lady wearing a pair of Nages over the top. So Nage versus Nage there.
That's right. And you find those fins, they're really quick for being a smaller fin. They don't quite have that top end speed, but great in a curl, great in a close contest. Look at this great holding on the wall, and the support. Didn't think you could fit that many players in such a small space, Dave.
It is a wide court, but the French did very well there as a unit. They were very tight. They were really well drilled, and they knew exactly how they were going to bring it out. But they had a bit of cover on the New Zealand defense, who sort of umbrellaed them and shadowed them over. But the French kept their drive and the defense line quite well, because they're back on their goal tray with another referee's call. But it looks like Simon's saw something there that he wasn't happy about, and asked the Kiwis to back themselves out, and the French get a bit of a reprieve there, Nat.
And when we're under the water with the underwater cameras, you can see the New Zealanders have someone sitting quite wide. They're looking to bring it 45 off the wall into the open water, which is great play, because when you're in open water, you've usually only got the one or two players to beat. And here we go. We've got the French opening it up now, but she is shadowed hard by two New Zealanders, and some good support. Look at the dark blue bathers that are on the bottom there.
Yeah, we've got David Jones on the chat here saying "Go Kiwis," and a good shout out to Annabelle, number 9 for the Kiwis, and he say "Go go," and then we have the French saying "Go France." Victorien Debray from France, obviously watching, and "Go France."
Very tight game, and it is the under-23 women play a single round robin, so they only get to meet each of their teams once. So every game is going to bring something new. It's like the under-19s have got a double round robin, so they at least get to tweak their game plan and change things when they come up against a team a second time.
Yeah, very back and forth hockey here. We're going end to end, and the Kiwis are making a bit of a drive again. Got some a break,
fantastic.
and we got a French hooks and arms right on the goal tray. But it looks like we'll see what the referees think. But it looks like maybe possibly number 13, Jessica Surik has driven that puck with her support team into the goal net, and the Kiwis have taken a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, the look, the quicks, you can't beat it when you've got that extra turn of speed. You've got to use it. You've got to set the play up, get them out in the open, and then get the puck to them, and then they're almost unstoppable because we're lucky here. We've got a really smooth,
4 or 5 on the bottom.
Yeah. Oh.
bottom. The tiles
And
are nice and high glossy. So the
That is time.
when you get going, doesn't
Full
offer that much
time.
resistance.
Yeah, and it looked like a timeout was called by the French chief referee Amar, who is also the owner with the gear at 6AA. He's multitasking here today. Nat, he's doing refereeing. He's also running his booth at the top, selling his gear. So if you got a time, go up and see Amar. He's is certainly putting his heart and soul as he does into underwater hockey. Chief referee this time. I know he's got a few referee, and I think we even convinced him today he's going to come in and call a few games later on the day.
Fantastic. I think the people that are watching at home, David, we're streaming. I really appreciate having some Spanish commentary as well as the English commentary and some French commentary as well.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll pick up a bit of Spanish. Vamos and andale. I'll tell you what, we're getting it in. But it's really good that our people are responding quite positively to this the streaming. And if you're interested, you can go online and donate if you think we're doing a good job. Because as you would have heard earlier on. The Australian underwater hockey is actually funding a lot of this streaming and the equipment to make it happen. But I think people are starting to appreciate that, and we're up to about $2,000 of our $10,000 target. But as I say that, the French are pressuring the New Zealand goal, and it's a real big, strong melee on the bottom, and they're fighting for it. And the puck is in the tray, but we're looking around.
Wow.
The referees are consoling, but Simon looks like he saw a gloving by the French, and the referees are nodding, and I think it's a no goal, Nat, and the French are being asked to back up. Unfortunately, to the French, they would have tied the game.
And as we know, the refs will be looking for the gloving, especially when it's coming along that back wall. If you're a left-hander coming along the left side of the goals, it's really hard to keep it on your stick. So the refs are really watching for that. And that's why the 3 refs, they'll see it.
Yeah, as you're right on there, Nat. And Simon, he's a long stare of actually playing the game. I coached him in 2000 here in Hobart when we won then, but he gone to refereeing, and a lot of people know his level of refereeing is impeachable, and he's got a good team of other referees in the water with him, Amar and the chief deck, and they're right over top of it, and they're in the right positions, and they see everything that goes on. Different view than the players see. They always think they're seeing something different, but you can see the referees surrounding the puck and getting different views and calling different things. And right on cue, one of the referees is calling something 5 minutes to go, and it's against the French. It looks like a bit of a stick infringement or some sort of slashing there happening. That's the signal you see the referees doing, slashing across their arm. Usually a stick infringement, as everyone should know. You're not allowed to hit each other with those things. It has to hit the puck, but sometimes you get it happens, and because there was no penalty, it was incidental. But we got some really good driving from the Kiwis in the middle of the pool.
Look, that was a great strong curl, and she's still on the bottom. She backs herself, giving it off to one of her players, and just that second and third effort to stay down there and cover that space is really valuable. So well done, Phoebe.
Yeah, it looks like Simon saw something. He's calling a penalty shot, so that's a 2-on-1. The French will have 1 defender, and the Kiwis will actually have a 2 attackers. And looks like number 9 from New Zealand, Juliette, is a bit confused, and taking it is number 6, Marie Glossman. Can't see who the Kiwis are, but here we go, 2-on-1. A huge flick by the New Zealanders, and it's straight into the tray, and unfortunately she had no chance at that. And I think that was number 9, Annabelle Fletcher-Jones. So David Jones watching, your cheer out to her is actually, she must have heard you because she's popped one in there.
Oh, well done, David. Well spotted. And as we know, with a 2-on-1, the advantage, of course, is to the attacking team. So that's why you've got your 2 players against 1. And to defend those, you've only got 2 options, really. One, to spring out as fast as you can and try and stop the flick, or sit in the tray and try and knock it down.
Yeah, and as right there, Nick, right there, Nat. It's a it's a luck there, and once you get it, you do have to swim it out to 6 meters, and then it's determined it's defended against two attackers, and that's the way it should be. Nat, obviously, we're right there in the goal tray. Infringement happened within that 3 meter circle, which not a lot of people can see probably on the thing, but it's not too bad. If something happens in there and it's not 100% sure it's going to go in the tray, then we play a 2-on-1. But if it's going to go in the tray, the referees will determine that it was an almost certain goal. They'll award a penalty goal.
And thanks, Robert. We appreciate your support. I can tell you after a couple of hours of sitting with the microphone, it gets a bit tiring, but it's nice to have those positive comments.
Yep, and the Kiwis are coming straight back at the French, but I must say the French back line is very strong, and they have been clearing it. It's the second and third efforts that you mentioned earlier, Nat, that the French are just sort of outnumbered in that, but the French are responding well. They're trying to drive it out, but the Kiwis are rolling them off, and some lovely stick skills happen by the Kiwis. They always come with lots of skills. But unfortunately, this time I say that, and sure, right on cue, the referees call a stick infringement against the Kiwis. So
yeah, the New Zealanders girls, they always have consistently good flicks, David. I think they invest the time in that, the drills and perfecting their flicks and their swerves and all their tight skills, and it does pay off.
Yeah, and you can see there up on the side where you have 2 or 3 Kiwis behind the play. You've got one sitting in there watching it, but we also have a couple of Kiwis in front of the play, waiting for that play, and they come back in and strong support each other. So there's always seems to be all their outlets are, supported.
Yeah.
But again, the French were all on the bottom too, and they were sort of interfering with those things. So we see the Kiwis looking for a play out to the side, going directly across to try to open up that French defense, but the French were up to the task and steal the puck net.
And I think it's no secret, David, the New Zealanders play their 2-3-1 really well, and it keeps it's very hard to break through. You really do need to take it around the Kiwis.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that structure is only half the equation net. The other half is actually drilling it, and we all know that the New Zealanders have the opportunity to have a number of camps, and they drill it, and they do it to perfection.
Yeah, and if you can break that up, if you stick to your own game plan and break that box up, I suppose, then that's what you want to do, and you've just got to stick with your own game plan to counteract it.
Yeah, absolutely, and we saw on that free puck where the New Zealanders were all behind the play. They like to hold possession. They sort of, I know in some of the discussions I've had, well, why do you do that? But they do that simply from my understanding and my interpretation of what they say is that they want to maintain possession and keep everyone behind the puck, and that's pretty smart because you can't score a goal when you can't reach the goal, and it looks like the New Zealanders have driven it in. We'll see what the referees say.
Yeah.
We got a signal 1, signal 2. We've got a goal scored. Again by the New Zealanders off their set-up plays and the support behind the puck, as I was just indicating. So,
and there's usually, they didn't have to push it along the wall, which does draw more fouls. Coming out into the middle of the tray, it's a lot cleaner attack. So we've got 50 seconds left of the game, and the 4-1 scoreline does not reflect how close this game is.
Yeah, the New Zealanders have in the last probably 12 minutes, the last 7 minutes of this game have had the French on the back foot right from the start. But then we see the French right on cue trying to drive it in to take it to the New Zealand end. And they're driving straight back to the New Zealand goal, and hopefully they'll pop in another one. But again, the defense from New Zealand is strong. They had lots of numbers down. But again, here comes the support, and they're rotating it back through and recycling very well, Nat.
Yeah, vive la France. We want them to score. We're all for close games. It makes a really good tournament. With the eight teams in the under-23 competition, it's really tight. There's not much that separates the top 5 or 6 teams. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're seeing two well-drilled teams going at each other with slightly different styles, but one just dominating the other, and we hit the full-time buzzer with a 2-minute break with halftime, and sorry about that, with a 4-1 lead. The French were early in striking with the first goal, but New Zealand responded quite well with four unanswered goals from them.
And I think this is their only game of the day for these two teams.
Yeah, I think the women have another. They started off this morning, Nat, in both courts, but No, New Zealand's are in the other court, Nat. And this afternoon we only have court 2 in front of us. But New Zealand, the ladies will both have 2 games today. The first 2 games starting at 9:30. The second game here now, and then they're back in the pool around 4 o'clock for their second match of the game.
And 2 really strong nations here, David. I've played both in New Zealand and France, and they have really a depth in their competition. New Zealand have a fantastic junior development. And I think a lot of other countries watch in interest how they run their junior program.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. We're in the Glory Day Lounge, and the under-19 New Zealand women came in, had a chat, and they talked to us. And there's New Zealand, and there's Sandra up there.
Yeah, underwater hockey mum. What's she doing sitting with the New Zealanders, Sandra?
She's loved by all. But as I was saying, the New Zealand were saying they had about 60 school teams, and as we well know, they have to actually qualify for their schools division to compete at the schools nationals. And I know the French. I was talking to Scott yesterday from the French. Is saying that they're well supported, and their development is focused on, and what we're seeing is 2 well-drilled teams, and that's exactly what we're seeing, Nat.
Yeah, and I think the New Zealanders especially, their pools are very similar to ours, I think, so that they would have found, coming over here and having their 2 practice matches before the tournament, they would have settled in rather quickly to the pool temperature, the bottom, the whole setup, and that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a shout-out for the French team there, the under-19 girls there, supporting their under-23 girls. Well done, French. Vive la France. And then we go LA. We got some from Donnet-le-Beau from French, and Victorian Bird. Well, it's in French, I'm afraid, Matt, but unfortunately, my French, Nat, isn't all that good. But we'll see what happens second half in about 20 seconds about to start.
Yeah. And as you can see down the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you've got this terrific logo which is on all the merchandise for this championships. And that was designed by Lee Marie Stinson. And Poco people helped put that together, and that's a really catchy logo. I love it.
Yeah, and on the other side we got the Vertex, who have all the caps and the uniforms for the referees, and we're about to get underway, Nat, in the second half. Looking forward to another tough battle in the second half, and to see if the French can respond to being 3 goals down.
Oh, big strong attack straight off the strike. Well done, girls, and putting it on the New Zealand defence. But gee, she's managed to regain or get possession, and looking for players, using the wall as a bit of extra support, and over near the sub bench as well.
Yeah, that was number 10 there, Ossine. I think that's how you pronounce it. But again, I apologize. My reading of names is atrocious.
Yeah, I think you'd be pretty close.
Ossine Desav, she made an excessive drive, and the French have a free puck.
Oh yeah, and look
being taken there, and they're driving it to the middle channel where the higher risk potential for a goal. But the New Zealand defense was blocked down, shuffled out to the clearing agent, and she cleared it to the side of the pool.
Yeah, well, as you notice, the French set up pretty tight there, David. So it made it a little bit easier, I suppose, for the New Zealand girls to bring it round the outside. They've got to be careful with that. They really want to the French really want to channel it in. They don't want it to come out back along that back wall.
Yeah, your spot there. You don't want to get it in the hands of young FRA. Britt Holland there. She's got some tremendous speed, and she's sitting there waiting pose for that opportunity, Nat. But again, the French are cutting it off and hoping to drive it in, and let's see what happens. The referees are right there on the play. We've got a signal,
fantastic.
1 goal. Yeah, we've got another goal, and the French have brought 1 goal back and 2 goals. Again, I didn't see the number. I'm trying to look on the replay here in the booth, but unfortunately unable to see it. But it possibly been number 8, Clemence Muir, but I haven't got any confirmation from the deck. We haven't run our walkie-talkies out there. I think we'll fix that after the next game, Nat, so that we actually get confirmation. We can let all the people back at home who scored the goal. But let's say, the French just scored. It's now 4-2 New Zealand.
And New Zealand came out really strong. It seems like they're kind of sharing the wins on the strike there, which, I mean, the strike isn't everything, David, as we know. Some teams actually sit back that little bit and wait to see what the opposition do.
Yeah, I commented on the game, the Australians versus the Canadians. The Canadians came out in the first half and won every strike, and then the Australians in the second half won every strike. The Canadians are playing with their full complement team, which is only 8 here and that. So I think they were they played the smart card there by making a bit soft on the strikes. I don't mean it's soft, but they were there in possession, and as you said, winning the strike isn't everything. It's controlling that little pink and orange puck that people can see flying around.
That's exactly right. And, finding, oh, look at this drive. There are so many players on the bottom. These girls are just very well drilled and shutting each other down.
Yeah, we had number 6 there from the French, Marie Gassamou, doing a tremendous drive, a first, second effort, but she was well supported by her fellow teammate, Rose Flood. But we got a New Zealand countering that, and that's what happens when you do the risk and reward. You press so far up in attack, you expose yourself, and 2 New Zealanders running on 1 defender. But, gee, that French lady, she did well to get back in defence net.
She did, and it's always, she was in that reverse tackle position. She wasn't flat on the bottom, but she managed to scoop it around somehow. So that stopped that momentum from the New Zealanders, that drive. But they're regrouping, which they do really well, and looking to attack the centre of the goals.
Yeah, we got a bit of recycling for the New Zealand, but the French defence is asking it. But unfortunately, the referees have seen something, and they're conferring. We're looking for a player. Simon's chasing one of the players to. Looks like he's signaling number 8 for the French, who is Clemence Lemieux, and she's been asked to sit on the bench. That's going to be detrimental in a very tight game like this, Nat. You're going down to 5 players, and it was for chopping. And she's been asked to sit on the bench. And New Zealand have the
I'd be calling a timeout now, David. I really would, and give your girls a chance to regroup, especially the French. They just need that time to take some big, deep breaths. But as we know, 5 players against 6, a lot of the time the 5 players lift and manage to do something pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a double gloving happening, so it might be an equal puck. I was calling the Argentinian men's game yesterday, the 23s, and every time they went down to 5 players, they scored a goal.
Yeah, and like the last Worlds, David, with the Turkish boys against Great Britain, was it 4 against 6?
Man, it was 2 against 6 at one point there, Nat. I've never seen anything in my years of playing underwater hockey and coaching. I've never seen anything like that. I'm sure the Brits don't like us bringing it up, but I tell you what, I was simply amazed at what the Turkish did with 2 players.
Right.
Went out in the strike, took it, drove onto the defense. The defense was caught napping, and they were awarded a goal, and that gave them their run into the finals against us.
Yeah, look, and that from a coaching perspective, from anyone watching, you've got to tell your players, when you're down, it's not the end of the game. It's actually time for you to lift and take the opposition by surprise.
Yeah, New Zealand are pressing hard with their advantage, and it is in the tray, Nat. I haven't seen it, but it was a good defensive play by the French trying to knock it off. But it looks like number 11, Phoebe Stallman, has got on the end of that one and popped it in the New Zealand bin.
The bin. Oh, I think I'll stick with calling it a tray, Dave.
Yeah, well, yesterday I was referee calling with the American fellow, and we had the bin, we had the tray, we had the net. I think the Canadians call it a net. The Kiwis call it a bin. We call it a tray.
But whatever you want it in there, don't you?
Good on Phoebe. Number 11 for New Zealand has popped it in and is now 5-2. 9 minutes left to go in this half. The French have to respond to this and start lifting their game to claw their way back into this one now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the French coach hasn't called a timeout. New Zealanders don't want to call a timeout. They've got momentum. They've actually, they're really getting it together. So the French need to do something to stop this push.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Yesterday against GB, they got depressed, but they haven't got depressed. They're in this one. They're staying pretty strong in there, and they're keeping composure in. They must have learned from yesterday. Well done. Olivia Band must have had a good chat to the players yesterday and said you can't do that, and they haven't done that because they're actually having a good go, and they're keeping their structure very well. But we got the referees agreeing that there's an obstruction call against the French, and again, the French have been asked to go sit out, and Annabelle wrong one. Clemence Lemieux has been asked to sit out again for 1 minute, and for 1 minute the Kiwis will have advantage, and they've straight away capitalized on it, driving on the French.
Absolutely. But fantastic clearance. And I'm just looking at the stats, Dave, for the for and against for the goals. And the French, they've only had 3 goals scored against them in the tournament before this game. And that's a show of their defence. So all the defensive players in the French team, you'd have to be pretty impressed with that. That's right up there on the top of the league.
Absolutely, but unfortunately, Marie Glamoismo has copped a 2-minute penalty, and she's going to join Clemence in the penalty box. And the New Zealand are up have 2 advantage here, and let's see what the French can do. And hopefully, the French can actually get behind the puck as the New Zealand are trying to press here.
They want to bring it over to their sub bench. The French really want to bring it out on this back wall and hold it over in this corner, but. Yep. New Zealanders showing their tight skills and curls. Straight back into the centre.
Numbers present themselves as number 10, Courtney Coughlin, had a clear run to the bin, and now we're seeing Olivier calling a timeout for France. Unfortunately, never got it in quick enough when poor Maria got sent out for her 2-minute penalty. But New Zealand capitalized straight away and got their 6th goal. And that was number 10, Courtney Coughlin, scoring that goal net.
Okay, well, it looks like there's just the one on in the sin bin now, so they're back to 5. These girls, they've got to come out hard. They've got to come out hard and keep possession. They don't want to be flicking it into the New Zealand defence. They want to keep it on their sticks, curl it, wait for support, and cut it through to the middle. If they can just keep it tight in their group, they just can't present it to the New Zealanders.
Yeah, and the girls are sucking in the big oxygen there as a coach is starting saying, this is what we have to do, girls. We got to get back in this game. We got to tighten up. We got to drive to the goal tray and do it together. There's still one down for a little bit. I think she's still in the penalty. She just swam back to the bench, the penalty sin bin. Actually, they have still had 2. So she's looking like she's just scuttling up to the side where probably in the touch of the puck she'll join it. And that's probably an advantage, Nat. I've seen that happen a couple of times. As soon as the puck's touched, she'll be allowed to enter the play.
And she'll be coming in from the side, which is blindside the New Zealanders if they're not. And look, isn't it? They've come straight right after where she is.
There she is.
And she's in the water.
Yep, and it looks like Marie, number 6, who was serving a 2-minute penalty, is doing the same thing. She's getting anything, but the New Zealanders have less than a couple of seconds left before the advantage of the equal players again. But they're all pressing the French in that side and trying to drive it towards the goal.
Yeah, the French have to be careful here not to slip into reacting to the way the New Zealanders are playing. They need to think about what they've been told to do by their coach and if they've been told to open it up, get it away from that push. It's quite easy in this situation when you're a couple of goals down to just go into reaction mode rather than be proactive.
Yeah, well said, Nat. And I think that's what Coach Olivier was actually telling her players to make sure that they actually play the opportunities. And right on cue, you're seeing the French trying to drive it to the center channel to move it on, and that has caused the Kiwis to make a mistake. The refs called it and pushing the New Zealanders back, and we're just over their halfway mark into their play, and the French straight away trying to attack it through the middle channel net.
And it's not an easy feat against the New Zealand backline because they've only conceded 2 goals for the whole competition, which it's fairly similar to the French defence, but we need to see the French converting. They need to get it onto the New Zealand backline and then get numbers on the puck.
Yeah, it's very hard to do. The New Zealand backline structure is very strong. They do look square in the water, but they do react in a fallback position to sort of lull you into that false sense of security. You attack the middle of the channel, but you always end up in the corner. So well rehearsed teams like the New Zealand's, this under-23 squad, as they are under Coach Emma Ray, has drilled them strongly so that they actually are in a strong position. And you can see right off the strike there, right off the play starting, they're really rating for the French and causing them to go to wide.
Yeah, Emma Ray, really experienced player herself and a very dedicated coach. She's doing a good job with these girls. Look, this is really dangerous here in the middle. It's right in the centre of the pool, and there's obviously a lot of pressure because we're getting quite a few stops in play. Yeah,
and another couple of subs going on, and unfortunately this one's, it's against the French, and the Kiwis get a bit of a reprieve there. They're probably having a good sigh of relief, and they'll reset, and then they'll get cleared out as they do, come bring it to the side. working their numbers, and you can see that the full support. But again, the French are down there intercepting, passing.
That girl, it got the flick went straight past number 10, I think it was, and she stayed down and regained possession, and that's what you want. It takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah, a lot of discipline and a lot of training. And as you can see, that pressure that was applied by the defensive that turned to offensive by the French has caused the Kiwis to make a mistake. And it's been pulled up by the referees, and the French are setting up for a free puck.
Oh, here we go.
But
Interesting
we've got
to see.
Simon indicating something to the French player, and I'm not sure what's going on. I think a timeout has been called.
Okay. This is a good call, New Zealand, because this just slows that momentum down for France, because France were keeping great possession and starting to get that roll on happening, and Emma Ray's realised that, hey, we can if we call a timeout here, it just stops that roll happening, and it gives the New Zealand defence a chance to suck it in, just big deep breaths and reset.
Yeah, I think what we hadn't seen is that there's a New Zealander playing with 5 players. One of theirs in the sin bin. We sort of missed that call, so apologize, viewers. But the referees are set. We got 14 seconds to set, and the French have an advantage with 1 player up. The Kiwis, that was like you said, that was an excellent call by the coach for a timeout to regroup her players for that time. And we've got the French already sitting down to drive that puck right in the middle. Drive it right underneath her screen and try to drive it through the middle. But there we go. The Kiwis strong on the bottom, looking for the clearance. But there's a lot more French at the moment. But the Kiwis have cleared it out, Nat.
Oh, it's coming back again though, David. Those French keeping on heaps of pressure, but just when we thought we had a break, another against New Zealand.
Yeah, there was a quick break they made by I think that was number 8, FRA Brill Holland again. But
and a quick restart. It's 6-on-6 now, David. We've got all players in the water, right in front of goals, and that is a push. I'd be surprised if this one comes back out again.
Yeah, there, and we right on cue. There
Look,
it was.
Only a few players still on the surface.
Yeah,
Whoa,
we got
what a
the
clearance.
referee Simon signaling what's going on here, and he's calling a penalty. I'm not sure what he's saying. He's got hands going everywhere. That he's so quick with his signals. We got to get him to slow him down, but he sees everything. He knows all his signals, and I'm not sure what's going on, but it looks like it's right in front of the goal. It's a 2-on-1 there, Nat.
So we've got 3 and 6. We've got Berger and Marie. Oh.
And there, I think it's gone in, but maybe
no,
she's
clearing it out along the wall. Whoa. I think the...
Now we got a referees being called. We got a no goal, but we're signaling what's going here. Simon's asked for people to come down.
So number 6, Rebecca Gatland, I think.
Yeah, number 6 from the Kiwis there. Rebecca Gatland defended that free, but the referee's confirming because she may have stopped it with accidentally with her hand or something. Yeah. But Simon has signaled that it was a gloving, and they're signaling a goal. So the French do counter back with their 2-on-1. It's unfortunate for Rebecca there. She did a lot of good work, but she accidentally hit it down with her arm and infringed that, and Simon was right there on the play and saw it and has called it. The referees have confirmed, and it is a goal.
That's a really good call, David. That's a really good call because, the advantage is to the attacking team, and if she's knocking it down inadvertently with anything other than the stick, well, you've got to call that one a goal.
Absolutely, well, and I think all players would agree that you want everything to be called fairness, and that's why we have the 3 referees. That's why they confer. They just don't make individual calls. They get there together, and they try to make those calls as quickly as possible. I know Angus has been whipping them into shape to say, guys, you can't take forever to make these calls. Get together, confer, make a decision, and get on with it. And that's what all the players like. And as you can see, there's some big, strong plays. Again, the French are trying
Intense.
There's still 3 goals gone. There's 2 minutes to go, and I've seen it done before. And number 6, Marie Glassamo, is down there again. She's a workhorse. So she's just down there all the time. I see her going.
David, from your point of view, how are you finding the 2 shades of blue for the white and black team? Do you think there's enough distinction there?
I think with the quality streaming we have here, Nat, it's fine. But there is a bit of difficulty. But with the quality of streaming we had, like I would say, if we were back in South Africa at the streaming we had there, and even back in Hungary out in the old pool, you wouldn't be able to see anything. but because the streaming's so well, I'm finding it quite well. It's good because the contrasting the caps make it easier. The contrasting the bathers because the streaming is good.
Yeah.
And the French all have little symbols on their fins and their numbers. That helps as the French are pressing the back line again.
They
Nat.
are. That's a hard.
And that-
It's a
and that-
hard place to attack, but if you can cycle your players through that and keep that pressure on, it'll get. We've got an
we've
equal
got
puck.
equal pucks. Both teams gloving it up, obviously on
Which,
that wall.
yeah, which happens on the wall. And that's what the refs are looking for. And
Yeah.
have you noticed, David, which is something I'm so impressed with, is the clear barrier on the side.
Yeah. In Hobart, we're used to that barrier being a blue, and that clear barriers make a heck of a difference. Even from the referees have commented it makes a big difference. And that shot we're getting down the line, the referees need to be in the right position, so they're right there, and we're seeing their backside. But we can see a lot, and that clear is helping them to get a better view. Nat. And
Yeah,
it's well done
absolutely.
to the team here who put that together and came up with the concept. I think the last couple of Worlds we've had clear barriers, and that's becoming a bit of a trend.
Yeah, and it's a flexible barrier too, so you can't get advantage by holding on to it. And even on the sub bench, it just makes it easier to see what's happening in the court. This game, it's a really tight game, David. The girls will be really feeling it now. It's away from the sub bench. They've just got to, grit their teeth now. And with only a couple of minutes to go, it'd be nice to see the French score.
Yeah, we got 40 seconds left to go, Nat. In New Zealand, they're
Sorry
actually
about that.
driving out, but I must say the French have responded quite well to that lead, and they came back at the Kiwis and threw everything at them. When we got a call being called here, and we've got it looks like number 10 Ocean from the French has been asked to sit out for the remaining of this game, which is about 30 seconds left.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you're right. It is.
actually, she's and it looks like the score, if the Kiwis keep it this way, it'll be 6-3 for the Kiwis. But they're
Oh,
challenging; they want another one,
yeah.
and sure enough, right on cue.
Yeah, I think the French player was probably underestimated where she was in the goal there and tried to swim it across the tray,
Yeah.
which is, that makes it very, very a little bit easier for the New Zealanders.
Yeah, and the French didn't really respond very quickly to there being a play down, but sure enough, it was a no-goal call because it was a foul, and we're back out. But the referees made the call, and the French have swimming it to their bench. But look, I'm sure they've checked the clock and saw it's 9 seconds. They got to go the other way, and they can't just hold on to it.
Yeah, 6-3. Look, that scoreline doesn't show how tight it was. These girls there were so many bodies on the bottom and so tight. They're very intense level of hockey and quick. There was a lot of quicks in these two teams, David.
Yeah, and that at full time in the second game of the day, on the third day, New Zealand get over top the French 6-3. I think, Nat, if you want to hop out there and remember the camera in camera 1 down the other end, have some interviews with the girls. So you got about 5 minutes to catch some of the girls. They're doing their warm down, cheering and stuff. But a very exciting game in Court 2 today, where the New Zealand's were triumph over the French 6-3. For those following the stream, the next game will be in Court 2 is the Australian under-23 men and the Argentinians game. So, but hopefully Nat's on the deck and she'll get them. The teams are going through their chants and their cool downs, and then we'll see what we can draw across.